6. Mark chapter 6, starting verse 45. So going on. Mark chapter 6, starting verse 45. And straightway he, Jesus, constrained his disciples to get into the ship and to go to the other side before unto Bethsaida, while he sent away the people. This is interesting because there are many times in our life when God sends us out. He sends us out into the world. It's interesting because he got his disciples to get in a boat. They had the wherewithal to get across the sea. He puts them in a boat and says, okay, boys, go over to the other side. You're on your own here. And these are times of testing for us. There are always times of testing for us. Not testing in a bad way. It's actually testing in a good way. It's testing us to be strong in the Lord. It's testing us in the world. You see, our Christianity has no value unless it can stand up to the trials and tribulations that come in with the world. Christianity that only works inside of church is anemic. It's powerless. It has no value.
Amen.
It only has value out there in the world. And so he sends them over. He sent away, he said, while he sent away the people. Verse 46, so when he had sent them away, he departed into a mountain to pray. So they're in a boat. He sends away the people by himself, and then he goes to pray by himself. And when even was come, the evening, the ship was in the midst of the sea, and he alone on the land. This is the picture. The disciples are out in the midst of the Sea of Galilee, and he's on the shore. And verse 48, he saw them toiling in rowing, for the wind was contrary unto them, and about the 4th watch of the night he cometh unto them walking upon the sea, and would have passed by them. Very interesting. They're rowing and they're finding it tough going because they're rowing into the wind. It's hard. When God sends you out, you know, you get visions of things, and it's like, oh, this is exciting because this is what God's directing me to do. This is exciting stuff. This is my ministry. This is my whatever. It's like, yes, I've had a vision for this a long time, and God's opened the door, and this is exciting. It's like, yeah, it's exciting, but you think the enemy doesn't know also that God's just commissioned you? So he's going to throw everything at you he can. It's interesting because the wind was against them. Not surprisingly. The wind that blew on the day of Pentecost was the wind of the Holy Spirit. There's other spirits besides the Holy Spirit. Those are the ones that they're rowing against. Don't think that you're not rowing against the wind. There's plenty of wind out there, and it's all blowing against you. And of course, the sea is cooperating. Because the wind blows on the sea, of course, the sea is moving in the same direction against them. The sea is interesting because one of the things that it represents in the word is humanity. Haven't you ever had that experience? Everything's working against you spiritually, and people are working against you too? It seems like everybody's against you. Of course, we've all had those kinds of experiences, and it's demoralizing. And the natural is demoralizing. You say, but why? God, you told me to do this. Why is it so difficult? Why is it so difficult spiritually? Why is it so difficult in the natural? Why does everybody seem to be working against me? Friends, family, people are jealous? Like, what's the deal? God knew it before he sent you out. And the enemy knew it before you went out. It's like, okay, you just became the battleground. And whether you win or lose is totally up to you. Because God's on your side. The enemy's against you. You have to decide, which side am I on? Am I going to keep working against the wind? But there's more to this story. And about the 4th watch of the night, he, Jesus, cometh unto them, walking upon the sea, and would have passed by them. Why is this interesting? Not only is the wind against them, it's dark. You ever noticed how nasty any body of water looks at night when there's no light? It just looks black. Like an abyss. It's almost like being on top of a big hole. And so they're rowing against the wind, and the water's against them, and it's all dark around them. They're trying to make headway, and here's Jesus walking on the water. It's like, what's going on? What is going on? It's interesting. Okay, and what is, as if he was going to pass right by them. Sometimes it feels like God's going to pass by us. Verse 49, but this is where it starts getting interesting. But when they saw him walking upon the sea, they supposed it had been a spirit and cried out. For they all saw him and were troubled. You know, when it looks like all of a sudden there's something else coming at you, it's actually Jesus. We all have a tendency to assume the worst. So when they saw Jesus walking on the water, they know what Jesus looks like, but they assume it's something else. They naturally assume negatively it must be something else besides Jesus coming at them. After all, everything else is working against them, right? So this can't be Jesus. Ever had that kind of experience? You know, it's interesting because it says in several places in the Old Testament, he says, God says, I dwell in the thick darkness. I dwell in the thick darkness. It's like, why would God be in darkness? Because it's that place where you can't see anything but God. You can't see anything but Jesus. You don't have to find your way out of the darkness. All you've got to do is find Jesus. But when you find Jesus, you find your way out of the darkness. So he would have passed right by them. And you know what? He passes by us every day, and we have to decide, are we going to recognize him, we're going to call upon him, or are we just going to let him just keep going while we're wrestling with our own problem, trying to get to the other side. Yeah, Jesus, I got this. You told me what to do. I got this. I can do it. Yeah, I got to buckle down. I got to work harder. I can do it, Jesus. We can do it. We can do it. We don't need Jesus. We can do it. It's like, yeah, you think so? It's like, they weren't going to make any headway. And then when they saw Jesus, said, no, it can't be Jesus. Must be something else. No, it's Jesus. Jesus always shows up, and he always shows up on time. He would have passed by them, and when they saw him, they supposed it had been a spirit, and they cried out. For they all saw him and were troubled. And immediately, they were troubled, but they still cried out to him. And immediately, take note, the word is immediately. That means what? Immediately, right now, as soon as they called out, right now, he talked with them. You know, I always say, women know how to talk, but Jesus knows how to talk more than women do. He's ready 24/7. So it's like, you got a problem? He's ready to talk. You might not be ready to talk. He's always ready to talk. 24/7. And immediately he talked with them and saith unto them, be of good cheer, it is I. Be not afraid. The first thing he addresses is their fear. God launches you out into something and you're thinking, I got it. I got the boat. I got the commission. I'm in business. Until the wind starts to blow. It's like, what is going on? I thought Jesus told me to do this. Yeah, but he didn't tell you to do it on your own. It's not a committee. It's not a committee deal. Can you? Thank you. It's not a committee progress. Everything is about not the committee, not about you. It's about you and Jesus. It's all about getting closer to Jesus. Everything, every trial, every difficulty, every problem you got is about getting closer to Jesus. It's not about solving problems. Think about it. The God of the whole universe, the God who created you, he doesn't have problems. I'll repeat that. The God of the whole universe doesn't have problems. He's not Jamaican. He doesn't even have situations. He just has people that he's trying to teach to draw on him so he can solve your problems because he doesn't have any. Can you imagine? Now that's the way, that's who you want to serve. Is someone that doesn't have problems and is waiting to solve yours. That's a good deal. The God that has no problems and he wants to solve yours. But you got to give them to him. You got to talk with him. It's all about communication. They saw him, immediately they were troubled, and immediately he talked with them and saith unto them, Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. He's not, the first thing he addresses is your fear.